By a high five.
Come on. Inside the 10. Head first. He flies inside the 5-yard line.
Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground and still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
Davis gets 19 to McCaffrey with a 19-yard reception. But Terrell again for at least 19 and more than that. Inside the 10, touchdown Denver.
All week long, Marty Schottenheimer talked to his
Manning out of the gun. Manning lets it fly. It's caught by Thomas. There's the record for Peyton Manning.
And welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Adungus Creevy, joined today by my co-host, Mr. Boggins, Glenn Hauser, and Bronco Bill joins us again for a second week in a row because the first week was so awesome.
Oh, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate
it. Now, with the switch over to the offseason, there are going to be a few changes. The schedule for the MHRT Network is also changing a bit, too. Now, the MHRT Podcast, the one we're on right now,
this one
is now going to be on Tuesdays at 7654. And the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast will now be on Thursdays at 7654. Now, the Neighborhood Pregame Show is going to have its final show for the season on Saturday before the Broncos and Chiefs game. And the MHRT Network will no longer carry Broncos talk. Adon is taking that back over and is going to continue on with that on his Anchor channel. So make sure you follow him there. So again, the MHRT podcast will now be on Tuesdays at 7654, and Nothing Rhymes will be on Thursdays at 7654 for the off season. And then we will add some more things and some changes when the new season starts, kind of like what we did this year with season 2 of the MHRT Network. Now that that fun stuff is over, how's everybody doing?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm just staring at Glenn like hating life in his face right there. Like, don't talk to me.
No, I'm fine.
Which Tuesday?
Why are you raising your hand?
I was got a question. I didn't know. I was okay. No.
It starts next Tuesday, and then every Tuesday after that.
And I should be here for that.
You already know about it.
Okay, you're right. No, I read your text messages.
I bet you do. I bet you do. Now, we do have some...
He screenshots them like Antonio Brown so he can use them against you later.
Exactly. Now, we do have some sad news. Greg Robinson, the Denver Broncos defensive coordinator when the Broncos won 2 Super Bowls, he passed away. He was 70 years old. Far too young.
Way too young. Absolutely.
Thank you for your service, sir.
And we've lost quite a few. I mean, we got Thomas. Thomas is gone. Reeves is gone. Mm-hmm. Greg Robinson. Mm-hmm. It's just Broncos have been hit hard on and off the field. And it's a very, very sad last month for sure.
So to kind of kick us off, speaking of Antonio Brown, I'm
take off our shirts.
No, don't do that. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I am quite interested to find out what the actual story is, because the Bucs are basically blaming it all on Antonio, and Antonio's like, "No, it's all your fault." I'm inclined to believe more of what the Bucs are saying than what Antonio is saying, just because he kind of has a history of going nuts. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming now the whole thing apparently started over an injury. Antonio Brown was having issues with his ankle. He was out for the game. He'd been on the injured list for that week leading up to the game against the Jets. And then I guess something happened with his ankle during the game, and the coaches were like, "You need to go in right now." And he said, "No, it's my ankle." And they said, "Well, leave. We don't need you." And so he stripped and then left the field.
Well, they benched him too, didn't they? I mean, that was what really got under his skin, was that they benched him. That's what I read.
Did they?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, and the team had already made inquiries about the injury previous to the game, and like asked what they wanted to do with it, gave him more options for seeking more medical attention, essentially beforehand, and which they never complied with. And then so he seemed fine, went in the game, and at a certain point decided, I'm not good enough to play, and I think he went to Bruce Arians most likely and said, like, I can't play right now. And he's like, okay, well, if you're out, then you're out. And he's like, well, no, I'm not. And like, it just became this just blown up thing. And you saw the next part where he just walked on the field, took off his shirt.
And I'm assuming Arians is saying, if you're out, you're out. Like, okay, you're injured, you're not going back in. And he took it as, oh, well, I'm off the team. It's like, wait a minute. Hold on.
No, Arians actually said, get the F out of here. He did.
Well, but
he actually said
that's Arians' way of saying, okay, you're not going back in.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we've all seen the Hard Knocks with Arians on it.
And I think it's really funny too, because like apparently he had an ankle injury, yet he was just like hopping around on the sidelines, and then supposedly was outside of the stadium getting in his, like, took an Uber home, but was like just dancing outside of the stadium waiting for his Uber, jumped in an Uber and went home. And then released a rap album.
and more information is coming out, and he snuck an OnlyFans model into the hotel the night before, and
don't we all have those problems though? I mean,
no,
no, not at all.
No,
no.
My fiance watches it. No, she doesn't.
Well, she should.
And then there've been other reports, so it'd be interesting to see what actually is verified. But that he wanted the Bucs to guarantee the $2 million in bonus money for the last game, and they refused to do it. So it's listen, this guy's got worse credibility than just about anybody I've out there. So it's very hard to give him the benefit of the doubt on anything.
Yeah, and I mean, do you foresee any team taking a flyer on Antonio Brown after this?
Oh, no.
Because this is what, team 4 or 3?
And essentially his last two teams, the Patriots and the Bucs, the only reason he was there is because Tom Brady vouched for him and like feels super bad for him and got him on the team essentially. And now he does not have that.
Well, and I guess Antonio went after Tom Brady's trainer as well, like trying to recoup some money that he'd paid, and so I don't think he's got Tom Brady anymore.
I respect Tom Brady though for taking the high road though, for sure. Like just saying like, dude essentially needs help. Like anybody in his life, please just reach out and be there for him, kind of thing. I mean, you don't want to assume that kind of stuff, but at the same time, it seems pretty clear that there's something there that is that probably Vontaze Burfict created.
Let's not give Tom too much credit. He pushed for him because the guy could help him win a Super Bowl. So
see that. Cam, if he does that, he has to bring the top blonde mustache back.
Bill, you were going to say something.
No, just gonna say he's a cancer. I mean, wherever he's gone, yes, he may be a great player, and he may be, when his head's on straight and he's not acting childish and running around the end zone with the shirt off. If he just knuckled down and was focused on playing, yeah, he's a great player. But you can't have a distraction like that. And I don't blame Arians for basically, telling him you're done this game, but. Other than that, I mean, Antonio Brown he needs to quit being the prima donna, and that's what he's trying to be. That's what he is.
If you can imagine what Arians, I mean, people know how Arians talks in pressers. Like, can you imagine what he actually was saying to Antonio Brown on the sidelines? Just like, and Antonio Brown is too hard on his sleeve, I guess, to take any of that.
I don't have a beat button.
Yeah, I know.
Try to figure out what he was saying.
That's fair.
And then he's claiming that Arians did the neck slash, and I'm like, I'm sure
was he the Undertaker?
Yeah.
You're like, you would never. Well,
he would. Well, maybe. Well, all right. So
Anyway.
speaking of the neck slash, let's talk about that Chargers game. Yeah, did you like that segue? It was a good one.
Yeah, I saw my sister's comment too, by the way. Thanks, Troy.
So when we played the Raiders and we played the Chargers, we went in saying, "Hey, they have a terrible run defense. Let's run all over them," and we like nothing. And Glenn, you and I kind of talked about it a little bit. I'm not blaming a single player. I'm not blaming a single individual. But what has changed in the last 2 games that we cannot get the run going?
Well, I want to know why we did those plays. We had first and goal inside the 5, I believe it was. And we did 3 running plays. And then what was that jet sweep that didn't work? And then we do this handoff and then flip back that was completely
I like that. I like that
but
play.
It didn't work.
Philly special?
Yeah, it didn't work. I mean, I just don't understand the play calling by Shermer at all. I just don't get it.
And all I'm saying is, like, you would expect a better throw from a Hall of Fame quarterback like Kendall Hinton. So I'm not.
Shermer heard that people wanted him to hand off to the jet sweep, and he Googled really cool jet sweeps and found
really cool plays
from the Super Bowl, one of the most famous ones. And he's like, you know what? Maybe this will have them keep my job.
Yeah,
They would keep my job if I give him this Philadelphia special.
Yeah, but you throw it back to a quarterback who's already injured. It's a right shoulder, but thank goodness he took a hit on the left shoulder. But still.
Bill, that's the point exactly. I mean, they on 4th down, Drew comes back in. They have him do a quarterback sneak on 4th down with an injured shoulder. Then they throw it, this trick play that they haven't run all year. They throw it to him. Where is this coming from? Where's the thought process?
Drew Lock should have taken off his shirt and gone across the end zone and then Ubered out of there.
So
So
do we know what the shoulder injury to Lock was? That was my main question right after, because Glenn and I talked about it right after the game, was why did they throw Lock the ball if he's got his shoulder injured? And then my response was, well, if it's an injury that just hurts but isn't going to get any worse by playing on it, then they're going to run the plays they're going to run no matter what. So do we know what the actual injury was to his shoulder?
I think that they shot him up at halftime because he came out and threw that 35-yard pass to Cortland Sutton right out of the gate. So it wasn't hurting that bad, or he's not feeling it.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, if he's numbed up and it's not going to get any worse by continuing to play, then I don't see a problem with running that play if it's not going to aggravate the injury more.
Well, they don't know if it's going to aggravate. If the helmet comes screaming at a numb shoulder, he did. Say
and that's what I'm saying. Like, do we know what the injury was? Was it a stinger? Was it a bruise? Was it a torn pec? Like, what are we talking about here?
The extent of the injury, the reveal on it was, he did mention this week that he was asked if it was as bad as the injury he had on his shoulder last year, and he said not even close. Yeah. So he is going to play on Sunday, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets shot up as well.
Well, and we don't. If we're looking at the roster now, Teddy's on IR, so he's done for the season. No more Teddy. So if we don't have Locke, we're playing Rippon. Do we have a backup? Do we have a backup to Rippon?
Yeah,
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, Kendall Hinton. Woohoo!
Well, not only is Teddy Bridgewater on IR, so is Kareem Jackson and Dalton Reisner.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we've lost those two.
What did Reisner go out for?
Elbow.
Mm-hmm. Elbow. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was shoulder or elbow.
Now I have a question.
I have an answer.
Since we have 3 players on COVID, Calvin Anderson, Brandon McManus, and Sam Martin, who in heaven's name is going to punt and kick?
They said they were bringing in Wadman.
Who?
No, he was signed by somebody else, I believe. But
no, they're working out Wadman. Bringing back Corey Wadman.
Wow,
Wadman,
or at least trying him out.
There's full expectation from the team that both these players are going to be able to play. If not, we're going to be going for it on fourth every time.
Absolutely, and going for 2-point conversion. That is,
I know, like who cares at this point? Like,
well, actually, Bill, I need to correct.
Does it matter?
No.
Bill, I need to correct you.
You need what?
I have to correct Bill because we do need to score touchdowns in order to have a chance at a 2-point conversion.
Well, that's what I was saying. If we score touchdowns,
Nah, the defense can score touchdowns.
Oh,
yeah, that's true.
They're the only ones that do at this point, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we do have Sertan and we have Darby out this week too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Which is fine, which is good. I'm glad that they took the high road and took Sertan out of there so we can keep him next year and they don't get him anymore.
And they were saying that Ojemudia is probably going to see some more playing time with Sertan and Darby out of there. Darby or Callahan? Darby. Or both.
Darby. Yeah, Darby and Sertan.
Well, Callahan's back.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was going to say they – I got it pulled up here. So they brought back Ajim, Baron Browning, Bryce Callahan, Bradley Chubb, Jonathan Cooper, Mike Ford, Jerry Jeudy, Bobby Massey, Tim Patrick, Mike Purcell, Caden Stearns, and Stephen Weatherly are all back off of the COVID list.
Yes.
Yeah, we're totally not going to win.
Wow. I love your optimism.
What? Hey, you know what? I'm optimistic about the future of my Denver Broncos, whether or not the short-term future optimism is there or not. That's not the point. The long-term optimism is there.
They had him in for a visit today.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they might have Wadman on backup just in case. I think they're fully expecting both of them to be back by Saturday because they can clear Saturday, right? They have to test negative Saturday and then they can come back.
Yeah, before the game, yes.
What do you think was Tom McMahon's mindset when he decided to try and reach out to Wadman again? Like just that, I guess just
screw it.
Just emergency, I guess. But like your job's already pretty much done, and you're like, oh, I have to bring back Wadman. Like that's not gonna make me look any better for any other potential jobs. It's fine. It is.
It's fine.
He'll get something. I don't know.
Okay, so let's run
shift off of Papa John's, but other than that,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he was a pizza delivery guy before we had him last time. Come on now.
So let's run with that. So we got. I think that we can all pretty much agree that no matter what, Shermer and McMahon are gone.
Oh yeah,
I think that's pretty. We're pretty set on that, right?
Well, Albright already said they're gone after.
Yeah, but I'm now starting to see a lot of talk, and this came from Schefter, Adam Schefter, right? Mm-hmm. Was saying that the Broncos really like and support Vic Fangio.
Oh my gosh! Don't tell me that.
So it's like, okay, do we see Fangio staying then, and not having to search for a new head coach?
I don't know. I think I know that a lot of people are off the ship. I am fine with it as long as we get like an Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson with whatever OC they want. And so Fangio can just stick and do what he does and have like Aaron Rodgers run the offense like that. As long as that's like, because if that doesn't happen, that's going to be the real problem. If it gets back to Fangio and then we have to draft a quarterback and pick up some rando vet, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be just like you won't even want to watch essentially next year because it's just going to be like just recycling it.
Okay, so you're okay with Fangio being the head coach and bringing in another offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, and all that, and still sticking with Fangio's basic format?
Well, but they wouldn't bring in a defensive coordinator. Ed Donatel would stay with Fangio.
Okay.
They would keep his team. They would bring in special teams, offensive coordinator, keep him in check. I mean, I would be okay with it. I mean, yes, he needs to work on his challenging. He's terrible at it, and his time management skills. But like Andy Reid has always been terrible at time management, and then he finally kind of got it better a little bit. I mean, that's stuff you can work on better. That's easier to correct than like running a defense, and he is very, very good at running a defense. Yes. Well, defense can stay very, very good, and now you just deal with your offense.
And I obviously the challenges and the time management I'm angry about, but the thing that I hate the most about Fangio is his personnel decisions, including like who starts and who doesn't, who his coordinators are.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pat Shurmur was a terrible hire. We knew that after last year. McMahon should have been gone last year. So I don't like the stubbornness of his personnel decisions. Even going back to Elijah Wilkinson, why was he starting last year when he was terrible? Like, we knew he was bad. So like his personnel decisions are the thing that anger me the most about Vic Fangio. Like, I can deal with the challenges, I can deal with the time management because we can figure that out. But the personnel decisions just piss me off.
Well, he also has an issue with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, if Drew Lock did not turn the ball over in back-to-back games and basically manage the game like a Teddy Bridgewater type game, and yet he doesn't give Lock the same, the same amount of praise and admiration that he gives Teddy Bridgewater. And that's bothersome to me because it's not showing loyalty or, sticking up for your players.
Yeah, I don't care about that as much because, like, if you're getting Aaron Rodgers in there, like, I don't really care about Drew Lock. Like, no offense, but I just
I don't either.
It's like out the door at that point. Like, Fangio can handle the defense. Aaron Rodgers and I don't know, Alex Van Pelt will deal with the offense, and it'll be glorious.
So with the challenges, my thing is I don't necessarily fault Vic for actually doing the challenges. I fault him for not having someone reliable set up to advise him on that, because generally it's coming from upstairs to, all right, throw the flag, get that going. And somebody is not advising him well at all.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that's fine tuning though, that Peyton can that's part of his job, which I think after his first year, like where he came in to just analyze everything, just like leave it as is. He can sit back and see how everything is for firsthand, and now he can adjust as he sees fit, that could be part of it.
So the Schefter interview that we're referencing, he was on the Fan in Denver today, and just some of the talking points he said, where he said that the Broncos want to keep Vic. They like him as a person and a coach. Schefter's not sure what the actual decision is, like Cam had mentioned in his comment. He said the Broncos are the first team in NFL history to win a Super Bowl and then miss the playoffs for the next 6 years. And he sees that more as an organizational issue, a quarterback issue. This is Schefter talking. But he said, Vic's in the prime slot to take the fall for missing the playoffs again. And Schefter said we could hire Shanahan or McVay and nothing would change without the QB situation fixed. And Adam even suggested that had the Broncos acquired Aaron Rodgers in the offseason, we'd be talking about Vic Fangio for coach of the year at this point, not for whether he's coming back or not. So it's just
Yep. I like.
Oh, was that the end of the thought?
Yes, I was just saying.
Okay.
I mean, no. So it's. I think we're definitive on certain coaches being gone, but
who is it?
Nobody.
Mom. Oh,
Mom.
That is the oddest grandfather clock sound I've ever heard.
It's purge time.
New iPhone ringtone.
Oh my gosh, never fails.
No, I wouldn't be surprised though. Next contract after this season, when he's up for contract again, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets an extension after we win the Super Bowl next year with Aaron Rodgers. That was already my prediction.
I heard Aaron Rodgers is talking about retiring though, so there might not even be in the equation.
Maybe
isn't it crazy though that the fans
about last year too?
Some of these fans are already turning on George Payton. I'm like, this guy's the best thing that happened to the Broncos since that time.
Your sister said it was her. It was me.
No, it wasn't. I saw the number.
So then I have this question. We all had assumed. I'm getting there. We all had assumed that there was going to be major coaching changes with the Broncos, but we also know that there's probably going to be big ownership changes this offseason as well. Does the ownership does the change of ownership potential have anything to do with the potential of keeping the head coach instead of hiring a new head coach, and then the new owner comes in and is like, no, and then just starts over again?
Well, then why would you have a GM like George Payton to make the calls? The owner has to trust who's in place. And I would hope that Peyton Manning would be a face of a group that would come in and be the basic head of the franchise as far as ownership, the face anyways. I don't think that a new owner coming in and replacing a head coach and coordinators or even GM is a smart move at all. I would say that would be catastrophic if that were the case.
I'd say very doubtful, but you never know. I mean, whoever buys this team, you could get some weird hothead like a Jeff Bezos type who would come in and maybe just throw everything into the wind. You never know. But I would say 98% chance that no, they wouldn't touch it.
I've never seen that before.
I think that the ownership change would have zero effect on the Broncos bringing in a coach. I don't think it's going to have an issue attracting a top line coach. They'll have whatever guarantees that they make. So if they get dumped, I don't think that would be the case. But if you think about the Broncos, and I mentioned this earlier in our chat, was that they're going to be sold for somewhere in the neighborhood of $4 million. I wouldn't be surprised if it even was a
billion.
Billion
with a B.
$4 million. I can afford that.
Yeah, pocket change.
So so they'll be sold for $4 billion. We're talking about a coaching contract and say $25-35 million. That's like that's peanuts compared to that. If someone wanted to make the change, they would do that, and they could write that check in a heartbeat. So I don't believe that the things interact or intersect at all.
Cameron Parker says, I still think there's major changes to staff, meaning I don't think Fangio or others will be back. Minus a few staff members, I do think defensive coordinator is still an entertaining thought, but it's still not logical in my opinion. No chance at all that, that Fangio comes back as defensive coordinator.
No chance, Cameron.
Name one person demoted in their regular life and then go back to the company in a different fashion. They're just you wouldn't do it, and you wouldn't expect.
Depends on how much money they pay me.
Well, Vic makes, I think, $5 million.
Pay him $6 million to be the defensive coordinator. There you go. Now, I have been seeing a lot of smoke on, and again, a lot of these are like things that are in the Twitterverse from Broncos country, like all the stuff we're talking about. And one of the big things is Peyton Manning and his brother Eli and his family having tried to keep as much worth as they possibly could to then go after ownership of a team. So I guess Peyton Manning's name is out there a lot about being the one that's trying to take over ownership of the Broncos.
And I would welcome that hands down. Absolutely welcome that. I mean, who else would you want to be an ambassador for the Broncos other than Manning or Elway? I can't think of anybody else. And that would be perfect. Because he knows the game, he knows. I guess he knows business. I would imagine, and I think that would be a great fit.
When we had Ryan Edwards on a few months ago, one of the things that he talked about with Peyton was that just the whole vibe and expectation in the building changed from everybody, like the maintenance staff, like everybody, like not only just the players when he was there. And that is what would excite me about having him there, because just his level of excellence, and people feed off of that. They want to be part of something successful. And, let's get Peyton and Eli in there, throwing $100 million collectively and let Bezos pay the rest and ride off into the sunset. I'd be perfectly happy with that.
Well, I think they'd said that over their two careers, Eli and Peyton had amassed, and I'm not saying they still have it in cash, but they have amassed like $625 million between the two of them, and that's with contract endorsement deals, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but then you still need cash flow, and you would still need more. You would still need more. I don't see it happening. I think it's a cool idea, and I'm sure they could like eventually maybe be a part of something like that. But they're going to have to get there. I feel like it's going to take a while to be able to collectively accomplish that.
Well, they wouldn't be majority owner for sure. I mean, you gotta.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like I mean,
thought they would be.
No, they don't
How
have.
could they be?
They don't have the money.
Not with $4 billion.
Yeah.
Cost.
No, like, and so like when people want Peyton and stuff in there, I mean, unless whoever it was like almost an angel investor where they just like threw a bunch of money at it and was just like, he's like, yeah, now Peyton, you run the show. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure if you're like a Jeff Bezos or whoever, like an oil tycoon that puts in that kind of dough, you're going to want to have a big say in that organization. And I don't think Peyton would play well with something like that.
But if there was a group, let's say there's a group of 10 and it's divided kind of like the way it is with the bowling kids, they all have a share. And if that were the case with people buying in, both Mannings, Eli and Peyton could own a majority of the shares, and therefore they would be the majority owners. But I don't see them being over 50% combined.
No.
I don't know.
If anything we've learned from the bowling kids is this giant group partnership isn't.
Yeah, no, that would be great. The Bolins just buy in with the Mannings, the Bolins and the Mannings, and
oh man,
and just like, don't worry, kids, I'll run it. And Johnny's just like, I
have been hearing a lot about Ellis and Elway basically having nothing to do with the team after this year.
No, they haven't had anything to do with the team for a while. Like they kind of just advise, but like I mean,
no, but I'm saying like nothing, like nothing.
Yeah,
like completely away, gone, done with it. Now I'm assuming that's depending on ownership, right?
No,
they're not.
No, they're already gonna be gone.
I can't even tell you how much like it's Joe Ellis is going to be, especially Joe Ellis. It just seems so over everything. Like him having to be there with the Bolins during all this court process and stuff like that. He just looks completely over it.
Okay, so then my next question then is the ownership situation solved this offseason? 100%. Because if it's not, you have to have the trust, right? Which is still Ellis, Elway. So how can they not be involved at all if they're still in the trust? That's what I'm saying.
They're not executives with the team, and that's one of my biggest Twitter like pet peeves. Probably the biggest one is when people still are suggesting that John Elway is running the show instead of George Payton. It's like,
it's definitely Payton. I'm just saying, like, to me, it was like, how can they have no part of the team if they still have to be involved in the trust if ownership isn't fixed? So that's what I'm saying. If we're seeing a bunch of smoke about them having nothing to do with the team and it's coming from them, does that mean that they believe that ownership will be solved this offseason?
Yeah, pull up Mr. Blue's comment because I've heard the same thing about that time frame. I think it is going to be.
Which one?
The last one about Mike Evans. So it's,
this one.
Yes.
I've heard of March time frame, and it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, there's a lot of money out there. You know, there are people that can pay that tab without having to go through any sort of hoops. They can just pay cash.
Because I mean, if it's going to happen that fast, I'm going to assume that there have already been meetings with potential buyers.
Oh, sure.
Some like the NFL has already approved them. The owners have approved them. I'm guessing that's all done.
The Broncos aren't for sale.
Because like if it's going to happen in March, they have to have already had that all done.
No,
because there's no way that's going to happen between February and March.
So when the Broncos sell, is Johnny Bolin still the blood of the city? I'm just curious.
Maybe
like there's no tampering, during the off season. There is no tampering. No one tampers.
There's no tampering except 1 minute into free agency. Deal for 75.
Okay, so kind of taking a step back again to coaching. So let's say, for example, that Vic Fangio stays. Where does that leave Drew Lock? Now, I'm not sitting here saying that I think he's going to be the franchise guy. He has played well over these last 2 games, but like I've said before, he isn't playing any better than Teddy Bridgewater did. Like he's thrown 1 touchdown in 2 games. Like the scoring isn't there. And so if you're sitting here saying, oh, well, Drew Lock's played well these last 2 games, so that just proves that he should be a starter. Well, he's played as well as Teddy, and we all know that Teddy's not the answer long term. So if Lock is playing as well as Teddy, then how is Lock the answer going forward?
Well, the issue,
he's not.
The issue is these posts that we're seeing with Locke's stats for these last 2 days, and I am not a Drew Lock hater, okay? But the stats, what they failed to actually then include is the score. Look at his passing rating of 116 and no turnovers and stuff. Like we're patting a guy on the back for like doing what he's supposed to do, but the problem is
for play that Teddy gets torn apart for.
Right, true. Right. I mean, I think the worst thing Teddy
shiny things.
The biggest. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that people hated about Teddy was that he took Drew's job. I don't think it was I don't think it was anything more than that because people were hating on him before he even set foot on the field.
How dare Peyton Manning take over Tim Tebow's starting role? How dare you, sir?
There is one scenario I think where Drew Lock starts for the Denver Broncos next year, and that is if we do not pick up an elite veteran quarterback, and then we go into the draft, and like I don't see, like you would have to run it back with Drew Lock at that point. One, because the free agent QB market is trash. You're not drafting a quarterback to put it's not a good quarterback year in the draft. Two, you're putting in a rookie with this roster that you currently have that is already good. So you're gonna play your odds and play Drew Lock, who already is familiar with his has chemistry with his teammates. So that's gonna be the only option essentially. And
I still think that if we don't get one of the Rodgers or the Wilsons, that Denver would still be in play for like a Marcus Mariota who's going to be a free agent, or a trade for a Gardner Minshew or something along those lines. Yeah. And I believe that if either one of them came in, Locke would still be the backup.
He'd have to be. He knows the system.
I don't think so anymore. I think, I guess it depends on the offensive coordinator. I don't see that. I think this, especially if Fangio gets another chance, I feel like he wouldn't do that again. I
go back to Drew Lock.
Just go for it, kid.
You think so?
It's you and me. You got to embrace him at this point. You already tried to reject him. It's embrace him. You and me together.
And again, I don't hold anything against Drew Lock. I don't hate Drew Lock. I've enjoyed the way he's played the last two games. Mm-hmm. But basically, he's played as good as a good backup. He hasn't turned the ball over like we've expected, but he's still throwing the ball high. He's still being inaccurate. His footwork is still a little messed up. Like there are still things like he's improved. I'm not saying he hasn't, but he hasn't improved to he for sure is a franchise quarterback. He's not. He's a good backup.
If we went out and got a Mike McDaniels or something on offense that runs like a Shanahan offense.
I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Woo! Run the Shanahan offense. It would be really interesting to see Drew in that kind of offense. I think he might thrive a little bit more off that, and so that would maybe change my mind a little bit.
Now, Drew Lock came out with a statement today, and he said, if you give me a full year as starting quarterback, I can prove that I can be the number one guy. To me, that's just a lot of talk. I mean, obviously he's going to say that. He wants to be the starter. I just don't feel that he has that in him without the right offensive coordinator. And I'm not sure what offensive coordinator would be the perfect fit for him, or if that person would even come to Denver.
Mr. Blue Broncos fan says if Vic Fangio gets another chance, if they cannot trade for Rodgers or Wilson, Big Ben's going to be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. I am fairly sure that after his last home game at Heinz and he was bawling his eyes out during the interview, that he's already made up his mind he's going to retire.
Yeah. I feel he's done. He's proven what he can prove, and
but
I just don't.
Boggs wants Shermer. Shake my head.
The last time I saw lumbering around like Ben Roethlisberger was when I saw Siegfried and Roy the last year that they had their biggest show.
Now, I've also seen some things about, if we don't get Wilson or Rodgers, what about Kirk Cousins? I just said it.
That's fine. That's fine. No,
I was going to say Matt Ryan, but man, that contract is massive.
I thought you were going to say Baker.
Right. No, well, I've never been a fan of Baker Mayfield though. Like I don't
love Baker.
No, I don't want Baker.
I definitely don't think he was worth a number one pick.
I would much rather
is he
have
better?
Kirk Cousins.
I mean, is he better than what we have right now?
No.
No.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Not by much. Not by much. I think he's a better leader, but I don't think by much. It's going to be more inconsistency. I don't know what everybody's problem. I don't know what everybody's problem is with Kirk Cousins. Like, he's top 10 in like every category.
I have no issues with Kirk Cousins.
I just see it all over Twitter. Like, I don't know, people's like Kirk Cousins. He's not like, he's a good quarterback. I don't know. Like, it's kind of like the whole Derek Carr thing when everybody was ragging on Derek Carr a bunch, and like, Derek Carr is a good quarterback. I don't
take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I would take either of them. I think we would actually win games.
Is Kirk Cousins? Is his contract up?
No, I think it was if Zimmer's not there anymore, then maybe the Vikings would want to trade him. I don't know if the Vikings are going to get rid of Zimmer.
Yeah, I think they are. I think he's out the door.
You do?
Yep. I think he's out the door.
Well, I know the Bears announced that, and I know it's not Broncos related, but I know that the Bears already said Nagy's not coming back.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of openings.
Well, so in that Schefter interview, also they mentioned that the typical Black Monday results in 6 coaches getting canned, and Schefter actually said he would take the over on that. So, be interesting to see which teams are moving forward with that. So we've been talking about Vic staying. Do you guys really see that happening, or do you think it's going to be a clean slate? What?
Dude, I don't even know anymore. Like, I'm terrified that he's going to stay. And like, I love Fangio's defense and how he runs it, but at the same time, like, I would much rather see Dan Quinn come in for an example. Dan Quinn come in, who's got a proven track record of having a good defense, and he's not a bad head coach. So like, he didn't have the time management problems. He didn't have the challenge issues. So I like Fangio's defense, and I like the players that are in it, but that doesn't mean that he's passing all of his head coaching jobs. Like, he's good at defense, but when it comes to picking personnel, F. When it comes to offense, F. Special teams, F. Like, all the other stuff that makes the head coach, he's not passing.
If he was if he wasn't as old as he is, and then he went back to being DC for a while and then got another head coaching opportunity, I don't know if he'll stay in the league that long. But I think Vic Fangio will be a hot name after going back to defensive coordinator again and then getting the opportunity to be a head coach again, because I think out of all the retreads, I think Vic Fangio would potentially be very good after now that he's got knocked loose the 3 years of head coaching for the first time in 30-some years.
Mr. Blue,
out. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, no, you go ahead and finish your.
Say if Nagy's out of Chicago and Fangio's released from Denver, I mean, he could go back to Chicago as a head coach.
Oh, I thought you were going to say bring Nagy to Denver. Like, don't you dare. Don't you dare. No, Mr. Blue Broncos fan says you would still have to trade for Kirk Cousins, and he wouldn't be worth what you'd have to give up for him. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm going to assume that Kirk Cousins would not be as expensive as Wilson or Rodgers.
Oh, not expensive? Not
as far as like trade value, what we'd have to give up for him.
No. Yeah,
I'm assuming it would have to. A lot of it would come down to how much we're going to pay on the first year, as opposed to how much the Vikings would pay on the first year.
I think it would be more of a cap dump. I don't remember exactly. I'd have to check over the cap on it, but yeah, it would be more of a cap dump, I think, than actual picks. I mean, we'd probably give a first round, but it would probably be closer to like a Matthew Stafford trade, but not as much because of the age.
It's a possibility from what I've seen, Ben, here and on the fan. I mean, do we really need to listen to the fan? That's the big question.
Cameron has an interesting.
The last one or the Kirk Cousins one?
No, the last one, because I hadn't even considered sending the Chargers as a possibility for Vic as a DC.
But would he work as DC with the Chargers with Brandon coming from that?
Why wouldn't he?
No, I've seen this around too, and I hate it. I don't,
because I mean, would you want to be the defensive coordinator or the underling to someone that
No.
you basically trained?
No,
Or-
the Chargers one is dumb, but the Chiefs one, I have definitely heard, and I would hate so much. Can you imagine Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Fangio? Ugh.
Oh, dude, did you hear?
So you're suggesting it'd be like Gordon Ramsay being like the sous chef?
Yeah, right.
Granted, Fangio's system does take a little while to learn, so I don't think it would be like a year one, like, oh my god. But like,
I mean, I could see Fangio possibly going for like Jaguars, but that's because the Jaguars are stupid. Like we talked about Dan Quinn turning down the interview for the Jags. I guess Balky has the idea of trying to convince the owner, Shad Khan, to be okay with Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
No. No.
I think the Jaguars would be better with Balky from Perfect Strangers running.
I think Fangio would want the roster and go like maybe Cowboys if Dan Quinn's out of there, and they just kind of like rehash that whole thing. Like, I think Vic Fangio would like. He's like, oh, Micah, because I knew he was a big Micah Parsons fan, even though they decided to get Pat Surtain. They said, I think they said that Micah was right behind Surtain.
Yeah.
Right.
Congrats, Boggs. It gave me nightmares.
It didn't even start today.
So there is one there is one other name that I've heard as far as bringing in for head coach, and that is Jim Harbaugh. No, I know that he hasn't said anything about the Broncos. His name was tied to, was it Vegas? Was what his name was tied to?
Yeah.
Do I think
fine.
he'll leave Michigan? Probably not. I'm assuming all of this was a stunt to get paid more from Michigan. But
he already got.
Let's say, but he took a pay cut after last year.
Yeah, but like that's also his dream, like his dream job.
Yeah, that's his alma mater and his dream job.
Yeah. So I don't see that. And they
but
just let's
say, for example, that Jim Harbaugh does become available, and there is interest. Is Jim Harbaugh a coaching name that you would like to have for the Broncos?
No.
Why? He's been successful in the NFL and in college.
I don't like him.
And like successful.
But would it be a fit for the players that we have on the staff right now, or on the team, I should say, right now? That's my question. He's got a fiery attitude.
I kind of think we have the offense for like a majority of systems, especially.
Yeah, well, and
like Shanahan's system.
Harbaugh's defensive coordinator was Fangio, so he used to run the Fangio system. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that Fangio would come back as defensive coordinator. I'm just saying. I think so.
Can you imagine we hired
it wouldn't actually
Jim Harbaugh? Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Harbaugh left. You know, college football is getting a lot harder to coach these days with the transfer portal. You know, like it used to be where
dude, everybody's in the transfer portal now.
You used to be able to guarantee that some players would stick with you for 2-3 years, and now, you know, look what happened to Oklahoma. They put Rattler on the bench. They have a starting quarterback, and he decides I'm out of here. So, does Harbaugh want to deal with that, or does he want to deal with a 4-year contract or a 5-year guarantee? It's
when we're saying college football is hard, and you're talking about going back to the NFL. Like, I mean, the NFL is still harder.
No, but ask you know what I mean.
Ask Urban.
I'm talking about Urban.
Let's not ask Urban Meyer.
No,
he's busy right now.
Listen, he couldn't handle. He couldn't handle the grind of coaching, but he could handle it. But but Harbaugh, can you picture him going to the Bears? That would be interesting, and he may actually try for that job just because Ryan Day from Ohio State is rumored.
Well, he said 2 names of teams. I know one was the Raiders. Who was the other one? Was it Chicago? Okay.
I don't think he said it, but yeah.
Well, either a representative or someone was talking about it. I'm assuming it's a stunt to make Michigan pay him more.
I don't know. I can see it.
I don't know. So are we still not knowing who our quarterback is going to be and assuming that Vic Fangio is gone? Are we still thinking that Dan Quinn is the leading candidate right now? Or are there other names on that list that you would prefer over Dan Quinn? Or would you rather go offense instead of defense?
I'll let you know when I hear the list of interviewers.
Bieniemy? Never going to happen.
And why is he not a head coach somewhere? I mean, he's got everything that you need in a head coach. I mean, he's successful.
And Albright had already put out that if there was a Denver Broncos head coaching list, Bieniemy's not on it. And then we saw early this year during those first, was it 5-6 games, where the Chiefs' offense was really struggling. Bieniemy was calling the plays instead of Reed, and then Reed took back over.
Good point.
So I mean, you look at it, and it's the same thing with Dable. You kind of wonder. And more Bieniemy, but you kind of wonder, is it more Andy Reid and then Bieniemy is just kind of getting the credit for it and he's not actually that good? Or I don't know. I don't know if Bieniemy is really what we're looking for.
Yeah, I think it's all predicated on what we're going to do for quarterback, but Nathaniel Hackett, I like Mike McDaniel. Maybe that.
Did you say Josh McDaniels? Is that what you just said?
No,
I heard Josh McDaniels.
Well, you need to clean out the
Boggins wants Josh McDaniels.
Somebody said.
With Shermer as the offensive coordinator.
Oh God.
And then Vance Joseph is DC.
Yeah,
I
mean,
stop.
I wouldn't mind that.
Stop it.
I wouldn't mind that. Hey, I don't think. I'll be on record as saying I think Josh McDaniels, running an offense and Vance Joseph running a defense would be a good team. I'll say that.
Cam says Bieniemy supposedly didn't interview well and also has bad baggage. Eventually, I will figure that out. Supposedly, I know that there was some issue in Colorado.
And
I don't know.
Alex Van Pelt has also been mentioned. You laughed at me earlier, but that is also a name that has been mentioned.
Darryl Bevel.
So Dan Quinn seems to be the one that's on the radar right now. Then is what you're saying. Dan Quinn seems to be the number one person on the radar.
Well, it's a popular name right now.
Yeah, that was what was that? 2 months ago, Albright came out with a little short list of 5 names. I know Dan Quinn was on it. Jason Garrett was on it. I doubt he's still on it. Peterson was on it, wasn't he?
No.
John Gannon.
Yeah.
There was. It wasn't a huge
was on it actually.
Yeah, Daryl.
But
it was 5 or 6 names that were on it. But I'm assuming it's changed.
So I mean, we all love Ben. So I mean, he actually said that there are a couple more names that he has not revealed yet, and he will if there's a coaching change on Monday. But he was leaving it out there for people not to be able to piggyback on his sources. But one thing he said about Doug Peterson, he said the guy's an excellent CEO, but not an X's and O guy, and I thought that was an interesting assessment.
Interesting.
So you would almost have to have an X's and O's guy for offense or defensive coordinator then.
Mm-hmm.
I want the nerdy. Definitely. I want the Sherlock Holmes I want the Bill Belichick. But
now Mike Kafka, I keep hearing a lot.
Oh yeah.
He's
former quarterback. He's with the Chiefs.
Yeah, he's the passing game coordinator, or is he what is he? Is it passing game coordinator, or is he?
I would assume
he's not OC. He's something.
Well, he can't.
I want to say passing game coordinator.
I think he's the guy that hangs out in the coyote outfit during the games. Their coyote mascot. He's the guy that's in there. I think. That's what I.
Hold on, I'm looking. Mike
Pep Hamilton's a name that's been pepping around recently too.
Quarterbacks coach and passing game coordinator.
Yeah, quarterback. Okay, so we were both right. Woohoo!
He taught Patrick Mahomes everything he knows.
I bet he does. It's probably Mike Kafka in a Patrick Mahomes.
You taught him how to throw
suit.
like this.
But it's right hand over the eyes, left hand throw.
Oh,
that's the one.
Between your legs. Got it.
Okay, so let's take a vote on who thinks Fangio is done as head coach. Who thinks Fangio's gone?
I think he is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all think he's going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Does the outcome of the Chiefs game matter at all?
No. I think he's already written his goodbye in stone from the last. I mean, I got it here. Fangio in 19, 20, and 21 years, he's 7-9, 5-11, 7-9 with an asterisk because we could be 7-10 at the end of the season. So there's no winning record. The only winning record we've had in the last 6 years is by Kubiak at 9-7, and that was in 2016.
I mean, we have a winning record at losing.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that that's technically the record, but there's so much situationally in those records. That's just like when people say that Vic Fangio is like the worst Broncos coach ever. I don't
know. I don't know about worst.
So. I wouldn't say worst. Joseph was
who is the worst?
I'd say Vance Joseph.
Vance Joseph.
Yeah. You think so?
We were in the dumps when Vic came. I mean, these records, considering the lack of a quarterback, considering all the injuries that we had, just it's pretty astounding. I mean, look at what he's done with this defense, with the linebacker situation this year. I mean, between him and Peyton bringing in some of these guys, I mean, we're looking at re-signing the 8th linebacker, for next year, Jonas Griffith. It's like there's a lot of positive that has come from Vic. I just think from a standpoint of that, I just don't know if it's possible for the team to move forward with him still there. There'll be just such negativity surrounding it. But maybe they're able to block out some of the things that's going on in the Broncos, the Broncos sphere. But
I guarantee if Fangio would have came to us like in the same light that Wade Phillips came to us, where he was just like the DC, we would look at him in the same way as we look at Wade Phillips, because his defense has been like top 5, top 10 the last 3 years, with $53 million on IR last year and COVID. Like he's a very, very, very good defensive coordinator.
Well, you bring up a great point, Boggins, because when we had Wade Phillips as defensive coordinator, we had a solid, stout defense. When he went to head coach, that changed. So I think you got a great point there. Absolutely.
Yep. He also had a hard time when he tried to good old Texas.
So that brings up a point about, I think probably the biggest question mark other than coaching and quarterback is linebackers. Because now we've got Jonas Griffith we gotta account for, on top of Kenny Young, on top of Baron Browning, Josie Jewell, Alexander Johnson. Who do we bring back? Can we bring back 4?
No.
Does all of them come back? Do we bring back 2? Which ones do we bring
Griffith,
back?
Josie Jewell.
Mm-hmm. You don't think Kenny Young at all?
No. Other teams were legit game planning against Kenny Young because he's so bad in coverage.
Yeah. Well,
Jonas Griffith shows a lot of athleticism still in his first year. Like he looks really good. And I think
Baron Browning's on his rookie contract, so he's not going anywhere.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
But yeah, both.
Wait,
I really like Jonas Griffith and Baron Browning.
Jonas Griffith is he a rookie or this is his second year?
No, this is his first year.
He's a rookie?
Yeah, he got drafted, I think, by the 49ers, and then didn't make the team. Or no, then we traded for him.
But is he a Will or a Mike?
It's not really as there you go. He's an ERFA. Okay. So I mean, so technically, yeah, we could,
because Browning is a Mike, right? And then that would make Jewell
Browning is
Will.
currently the Mike, yeah, but it's kind of it's complicated, but yeah, yes,
it's complicated.
Yes, not as traditional in the Fangio.
Well, because then, like, I'm looking at it from, if we had to pick between Mike and Will, linebackers. So does that mean we're going to have Browning and Jewell as a starting, or is it going to be Browning and Griffith? Which
I would like Browning and Griffith because of the upside. I think Josie, but
Griffin. Sorry, Griffin.
It's Griffith.
Griffith, Mike.
I thought Cam saying Griffin. I thought it was Jonas Griffith. That's what I've been saying.
No, it's Griffith.
It is Griffith.
Get it right, Cam.
Like Andy
Cameron,
Griffith.
Cameron can't spell.
Like Andy Griffith.
I'll
take him at linebacker too.
Yeah, but I really like Josie Jewell's smarts and tackling ability, but I like the upside of Jonas Griffith because you kind of know what you have in Josie, but Griffith is kind of the unknown, but with the high potential, kind of like a Baron Browning.
So you're Browning and Griffith.
Yeah, I would like that very much. Thank you.
I'm okay with that.
It's interesting because nobody is thinking about Alexander Johnson being back with this team.
Well, and I think Cody on Locked On Broncos even talked about it. Whereas, like, I mean, if you look at where he's at compared to where our younger linebackers could go, there's no. Like, Alexander Johnson's going to have to go somewhere else because these guys have a higher upside.
Yeah, I think we honestly have like quite a few decent linebackers. I mean, that's cool for them. At least they'll get some money on the open market. I feel like pretty quick. So, Alexander Johnson's older. He isn't as versatile, but he had a good run.
Well, and that doesn't even include the outside linebackers. I mean, are we bringing back Weatherly? Is Cooper going to be the guy? Are we going to re-sign Chubb? Like, are we? Okay, but here's the question: are we even going to have a first-round pick to get a Jabbo?
Probably not.
And
or Wilson. No, that's for sure. We won't.
Okay, so is a Jabbo the edge, the outside linebacker, or is he on the line edge?
No, outside.
Okay.
He outside. But yeah, he won't.
What Glenn just said.
we probably
no. I just didn't know if going from Michigan to going to Denver's defense, if that moves him from outside linebacker to defensive line end, or if he's staying at outside linebacker.
He pretty much ran. It was essentially the same. So he would transfer right into Weatherly's spot, essentially.
No, then we can't get him. Weatherly's got to stay.
I think
the mad scientist.
I think we might re-sign Weatherly. He's looked good. I mean, but again, it depends on who we hire. I said if Fangio's out,
yeah,
there might be a lot of differences.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a quick little look at the Chiefs and Broncos. Yeah. We had talked earlier in the year like, it's going to be locked up. We're going to be facing their second, third stringers. Nope, they're fighting for a first round bye. So
I don't get many Broncos games on cable out here. I don't know why
you don't.
They have to give me these games that are like almost guaranteed that we're gonna.
Yeah, why couldn't we got the Dallas game?
Yeah, like I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, it's going to be the Chiefs are they playing for first, or do the Titans have that locked up?
No, it's not locked up yet.
No, in fact, the Patriots have an opportunity to get the.
Okay, so the Chiefs are playing for a first round bye, so we're obviously going to get everything they've got.
And
we have most of our guys coming back. Yeah, the Raiders and Chargers is like if they tie and the Colts lose, they both can make it or something like that.
It's such a silly scenario.
Which is a no. We don't want that.
If the Colts lose to the Jaguars, give me a break.
It's just funny because like then if the Jags win, and then the Chargers and the Raiders can literally kneel the whole entire game and just run the clock out, and they'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah, no.
It'll be great.
He asked if you have a Fire Stick. I'm guessing for the like the breaking Stream East and I do Stream East. I don't know if that's even legal, but I don't care.
I have my ways.
They're the ones doing it, so
I have my ways. I have my ways of watching. I just like it's just nice to be able to just flip on the TV on cable instead of having to play the get rid of pop up game.
There you go. I don't even really want to dig into it. I just kind of want to know what your guys' score predictions are going to be.
Bad.
That's not a score.
Yeah, I don't see Denver winning this game. Not because Kansas City has everything to play for. Absolutely everything to play for. And I don't even see Denver scoring 13 points, to be honest with you. I mean, if the Chargers could put up 34 on us, I just think that Kansas City is going to roll up 41 or more.
Is Sorensen playing? Because if Sorensen's playing, we're screwed. The Chiefs safety
69 to nothing.
doesn't show up unless
okay,
unless
Duke.
we're playing. So it's fine.
LimeWire Life Mundungus. I haven't heard LimeWire in like 20 years.
That's great stuff. I remember LimeWire came out.
I'm going 37-13.
Ugh.
37-13. Yeah, that's.
Well, hey, Glenn, who's going to be kicking for us? How are we getting 13?
Oh, we got McManus.
Kendall Hinton.
or we have
Kendall Hinton's going to kick. He's going to join the Hall of Fame as a kicker too.
Yeah. No, McManus will be back.
I'm going to say 24-10.
Wow.
Closer than I thought.
Yeah, I still think Fangio's kind of got their number, but I think our lack of depth right now is definitely going to hurt us.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. I mean, defense hasn't really ever been the problem, and when it was because our offenses can never stay on the field. So I don't see the Chiefs running it up 30-40 points on the defense. I'm gonna say 21-7 because our offense can't score.
Right.
But even with Surtain and Darby out, you think that we're going to be able to contain these guys?
You know,
I think so.
Glenn, why do you have to be so negative? You know what I mean?
I think so.
You come on here. It's supposed to be fun times.
I mean, obviously Darby and Surtain are like the two best that we have. I mean, you probably include Callahan in that discussion as well.
You would definitely include Callahan in that conversation
but,
as well. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we saw some good things from Ojemudia, so we don't exactly know how well he's going to play. Ojemudia. Cade Stearns is going to be in, so he can help on the safety side of it. So I think we'll be okay.
I mean, look at what happened the last.
Honestly, like Tyreek Hill is the biggest receiving threat they've got, and it doesn't matter who's on the field. Nobody's keeping up with him.
No,
well, last game we kept him and Kelsey in the 20s, and then you think about mentioning another players like Jamar Chase has put up these ridiculous numbers this year.
He's so good.
Yeah. He's so good.
And
he had 3 yards with against the Broncos. He was putting these numbers outside of that. So I mean, it would be nice if our defensive backs that are.
It's like Fangio's really good.
How dare you, Bill?
Wait a minute. Let me explain.
No explanation.
Wow. Wow. Canceled.
All right. I'll say.
Go ahead. Try to explain your.
It was the holidays, and my sister and I both agreed that it probably wouldn't be a smart thing with the traffic and all that and the crazies out there on the New Year's weekend, so we bypassed it. It was a mutual agreement. You guys,
Glenn and I went to the Raiders game,
change your name to
knowing
Bill.
that we were going to play against the Raiders, and we
just
went.
Bill. Take that Bronco out of there.
Yeah, change it to No Travel Bill. That's what you need to change your name to.
I know. Should we out Bill even further and mention that Bill is 90 minutes from the game?
My sister's getting a phone call at the end of this podcast.
Why wait till the end? You just let's
you can do that.
The phone was already ringing.
Let's see. Shadow Jacker says 34-12, Kansas City. Does it really matter? It's just going to be an L anyways. Yes, it matters. I don't know why, but it does. Cam says 22-5.
Wow.
Okay.
I really gotta spruce up on my college football rules with the whole new that players can get paid because see what Canada posted. Yeah,
Caleb Williams got a $1 million offer from Eastern Michigan. I think you can because of the using the likeness. Like they can have things set up in advance for you to get like endorsements and sponsorships and whatnot.
Yeah, I'll have to look.
So that's probably what that is.
Rules.
I love what Dion says though. He's like, what company would hire an 18-year-old kid to like represent?
Right?
It's risky. There has to be some incentives in those contracts.
Now, wouldn't it be a shock though if we won the game Saturday and sent Kansas City reeling out of the first place?
I mean, they're still in the playoffs.
I love the Broncos to death, but I don't think I want that.
Yeah,
because of a higher draft. A lower draft.
Yeah.
We stab him. We stab him in the calf before we die and fall.
Not only that. So
bite kneecaps on the way down.
Yeah,
Bronco Bill. I live in New England, so if the Patriots get the number 1 seed, man, I just don't want to hear it. That's another
again, again without Tom Brady. Like, no, that's not okay. No, man, she's just going after you today, Bill.
Golly, man.
Blah blah blah. Don't believe Bronco Bill. No travel Bill. Love it. I try. All right, so that is going to about do it. This has been a fun episode. I like this one. All the descriptions for Bronco Bill and everything are down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, turn on notifications so you can catch all of our content when it's posted. Now, once again, starting next Tuesday after the Chiefs game, the MHRT podcast will be on Tuesdays at 7654, and the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast will be on Thursdays at 7654. The neighborhood pregame show is done after the Chiefs game for the season, and then we'll pick it up next season, and we'll have some news on that as well. That's changing a little bit, which is going to be fun. Again, the network isn't going to be carrying Broncos talk. Adon is taking that back over. He started that a couple weeks before the MHRT podcast started, so he's going to take that back over. He's going to be doing that on his Anchor channel. So make sure you go over to his Anchor channel and check that out. We love you, Broncos country. Go Broncos, except for against the Chiefs. Don't go too much.
I don't think you need to put the whammy on that.
Go Broncos. Do well, but not too well. So we'll go ahead and close it out with Mr. Boggins' favorite thing, which is the Mile High Five. And this is
walking like an Egyptian.
It's terrible. And this is going to be the last one of the. Did he take a picture like that and leave it?
Yeah.
Jeez. And this is going to be the last one of this season before we go to the next one. All right, everybody get your arms out. Ready? Oh, Mile High Five! I can't. I can't. It's just no. We're just no.